I love loving basketball. Not for the basketball, and certainly not for the love, but one, for the nonsense it showed a younger me I should never tolerate in relationships, and two, for what an older, more mature me, equipped with the proper language, is now able to recognize as a film painting a harrowing portrait of the misogyny embedded in society and the ugly ways misogyny bleeds from generation to generation, devastating individuals and relationships. A cheer chanted in competitive jest by cheerleaders at Quincy's basketball game that perfectly encapsulates the misogyny seen throughout the film. Something as commonplace as a rhyme, created and uttered thoughtlessly by children, reveals how deeply misogyny is embedded in the fabric of society and impacts the way individuals and groups behave. A simple chant intended to mock someone by redirecting ire and ugliness to women. Within patriarchal society, it's second nature to be misogynistic, to extol hatred for and consistently remind women of their perceived inferiority to cis men. It seeps into everyday activity and behavior, haphazardly inflicting harm and violence on women and other marginalized genders. He gets it from his daddy. Before delving into the ways misogyny wreaked havoc on the relationship of the main couple in the film, Monica and Quincy, it's important to start at the root of said misogyny, the root being their parents, and the ways with which the adults in these children's lives perpetuated misogyny, which was subsequently internalized by their kids. Monica's father, Nathan, was the parent with the most minor role and presence on screen, yet the ways he engaged his wife, Camille, for labor were rooted in misogyny and had a substantial impact on Monica growing up. One example arises while Monica's sister was doing Monica's hair, and Camille expressed pain from having worked all day, clearly doing heavy labor sorting through their garage. Nathan, entering the room shirts in hand, asks Camille for her preference between the two. After Camille picks a shirt, he says,
"You want to iron them both tonight?"
Camille is struggling and clearly exhausted from another day maintaining the household, yet her husband pays no heed to her exhaustion, having no qualms tacking on more to her ever-full plate by asking Camille to iron both his shirts, something I'm sure he could find the time to do his damn self. It's misogyny, that assumed inferiority placing and keeping women subservient, that enables Nathan to disregard Camille's exhaustion and prioritize his own needs over Camille's well-being. Monica, from her stoop on the ground, watches on, and from a young age takes note of this dynamic in her household, and it influences the lens with which she perceives her mother. Camille, on the other hand, plays a much larger role and has a substantially larger presence in the film than her husband. Throughout the film, the language she uses to characterize Monica and her perceptions and behavior towards Monica are deeply rooted in internalized misogyny. She constantly refers to Monica as a boy, uttering things like,
"She needs to stop running around like a little boy. I don't know why I keep hoping you'll grow out of this tomboy thing."
During a conversation near the end of the film, when Monica extends an olive branch and reaches out to her mother for advice about Quincy, this is what her mother has to say.
"What do you want me to say, Monica? Go over there and beat up the girl?"
Of course, a display of physicality and violence is the first thing Camille reaches for because of the lens she views Monica with. Camille enforcing boyhood on Monica is reflective of her misogynistic and bioessentialist assertions that Monica's love of basketball and more abrasive behavior are traits prescribed to boys and that should be exhibited by boys alone. This distaste of Monica's love of basketball propels the splintering of their relationship as Camille distances herself from a child who does not align with what she believes a girl should be. This distancing is witnessed through Camille's actions as she shows constant disinterest and lack of support for Monica as an athlete. She doesn't attend any of Monica's games. The one she did attend, her nose was dug deep into them pages. Listen, I love me some Toni Morrison too, but my goodness. And again, Camille's distancing is witnessed when Monica returns home. It's evident from the cold way Monica greets her mother and instantly asks for her father that their relationship has remained tense over the years, and perhaps more significantly, that her mother does not, and most likely has never, served as a place for Monica to come to with her problems. Monica is visibly upset in the scene, and Camille clocks something's wrong, but she doesn't care to dig any further into it because she assumes it's basketball that has her daughter upset.
It's just a game.
Camille has allowed her sexist resentment of a sport that has drawn her daughter away from the more feminine and appropriate activities and interests a young lady should have to fracture her relationship with her daughter. No affection, no care, just callousness. And all of this because your daughter wanted to dribble a ball instead of donning a tutu? The misogyny of it all. It isn't lost on me that one of the only times Camille genuinely engages her daughter from a place of care was when her mother opened her mouth to give Monica advice on getting back with Quincy. I can't even say I'm shocked. This is in chapter 3 verse 32 in the big book of Birditations after all. Finally, her daughter is engaging her in something worth discussing and worthy of a woman to be engaging in.
But remember when I said I thought Quincy could do better? I was talking about you.
Only misogyny would have her uttering something like this. Because what exactly does Quincy deserve? And why does Kira not fit the bill? Why are we making declarations about Kira's worth? Because if I were to prescribe by this logic, based on what I've seen on my screen, Kira can do better. Besides, do you even know Quincy, Camille? If you knew how Quincy and Monica's breakup transpired, as I bet my left big toenail, her and Monica never had a conversation about it, would you still be pushing for this? Actually, don't answer that. I fear that topic is covered in chapter 18 verse 22. For her homecoming, Lena, Monica's older sister, gives her a makeover. When Camille sees her daughter, she's gagged and quickly pulls out her mama's pearls to place on Monica's neck. A moment that should be heartwarming, but is overcast by Camille's internalized misogyny. During this conversation, Camille says to Monica,
Tonight, don't worry about yesterday's game or the recruiters or anything else. I just want you to enjoy being beautiful.
Up to this point in the film, this is the only time Camille has looked proud or acknowledged Monica's beauty. A beauty that's present on the court, mind you, but is unfathomable for Camille to understand because of her internalized misogyny. Only once she's leaned into patriarchal standards of beauty, gotten dolled up, and has hung up the basketball jersey, is Camille able to find pride or beauty in her daughter. Misogyny clouds what could have been a beautiful bonding moment between mother and daughter when you understand that this is the only way Monica can receive affection and affirmation from her mother. This is the only way Monica will ever receive validation of her beauty from her mother. Moving right along from one woman to the next, Nona, please come to the front of the classroom. Quincy's mother, Nona, perpetuates blatant and cruel misogyny on screen that is internalized by her son, specifically pertaining to the sexualization of women and girls. When Quincy returns home from a game, he enters his home to find his mother dangling an earring from her fingers. Quincy suggests the earrings might be hers, to which she replies,
"Oh, I look like some hoochie to you?"
Listening to the ease with which Nona refers to these young girls Quincy is having casual relationships with as promiscuous and overtly sexual, it's no wonder Quincy grows up to spew the exact same rhetoric and perceive women and girls through the exact same lens. Misogyny just being passed down from generation to generation. Girl, break the chains. Break the chains. It's important to note that in this one sentence, Nona not only degrades these girls, but is also distancing herself from them, revealing that Nona sees herself as different and superior to these so-called hoochies. And why?
Ma, what you doing in my room?
Quincy, I have told you about these fast-ass girls. Now, I'm telling you, these girls are looking to get you caught. They see you and they see dollar signs.
It's their perceived promiscuity and what the promiscuity of these girls says about them that has Nona viewing herself as better than them. Girls and women engaging in sex, especially casual sex, are regarded as immoral, a clear double standard seen in slut-shaming these girls while her son's bedroom door stays rotating. This perceived immorality, stamped on women and girls engaging or believed to be engaging in sex, sanctions their degradation while enabling the mistreatment and violence perpetuated against them to transpire unchallenged and unpunished. Simultaneously, it allows for narratives around these women and girls to be spun and believed with no pushback, but with ample opportunity for punishment to be doled out towards these women and girls. Nona is engaging in such misogynistic behavior here when she asserts these fast fast-ass girls are just looking to get her son caught up. In the same breath, there's this inclination to protect these seemingly innocent men and boys who fall victim to these elaborate plots of debauchery and temptation laid out by these women and girls, as if these men and boys are not willing participants engaging in sexual relationships. Rather than trying to teach your son how to exercise some sexual discipline or encourage conversations around safe sex and respecting girls in these encounters, it's easier to lob the blame on these girls, these hoochies, because they're the ones burdened with immorality in these dynamics. It also plays into the bioessentialist assertion of boys will be boys, that boys and men wield no autonomy over their sexual desires and are powerless against the nature of biology. Ironically enough, Nona's internalized misogyny clouds her from understanding that though she might perceive herself as different and better than these women, Zeke's misogynistic trifling ass certainly does not. Zeke and the never-ending misogynistic ministry he perpetuates from his pulpit of patriarchy. If I ever catch this man in these streets, within 5 minutes of the film, from the first time we meet Zeke and Nona on screen together and are made privy to the ways Zeke speaks to his wife, particularly with Quincy within hearing distance, it was a wrap on Zeke for me.
Zeke, you just got back from a 4-game road trip.
Nona, please don't start bitching.
When Nona expresses frustration with Zeke's lack of presence at home, she's met with this misogynistic dismissal of her concerns, not even digging into the misogyny latent in the word bitching itself and the use of such language against the woman. In none but several words, Zeke silences his wife, minimizing the gravity of her concerns, while also asserting his dominance in their household. And of course, Quincy is perched up on the couch, internalizing the disrespectful and misogynistic way Zeke is interacting with his wife and seeing no issue with it, as Zeke's words go unchallenged. And we wonder why Quincy got the audacity, the gall, to speak to Monica the way he does later on in the film. Where we truly see the depth of insidiousness tied up in misogyny is when Zeke has a conversation with Quincy at the bar and reveals his infidelity. Zeke seamlessly transitions into this conversation like the slithering snake he is.
The sooner you go pro, the sooner you gotta deal with the mess I'm dealing with.
Already, you see Zeke pulling out misogynistic tactics. He presents his infidelity and legal struggles as though there's some entity out there that's been waiting until he made it big and got some coins to strike. As if he didn't consciously engage in whatever landed him in this mess he's dealing with. Zeke distances himself from accountability with his paternity suit immediately when speaking to Quincy, while discreetly starting to paint the picture of who the villain is in this situation. A woman. A woman he proceeds to describe as
some girl that's been hanging on at every party. Now I'm supposed to be her baby's daddy.
Whew. The levels of misogyny at work here. By describing the woman as some girl, Zeke lowers her worth as a person, describing her as insignificant. He seeks out to lower her worth even further by following those words up with, "that's been hanging on at every party," painting her out as easy, painting her out as a hoe, opting to hail her as such because he knows how society looks at and treats women, deemed hoes, as deviants, the bottom barrel of society who deserve mistreatment, thus allowing said harm and abuse to be inflicted against such women with no consequence. Zeke emphasizes the woman's desperation, thirst, and deviant edge by insinuating she sought him out and pursued him with ill intentions. Weaving this narrative about this woman with blatant misogynistic language allows Zeke to frame himself as a man who fell victim to the sexual and manipulative wiles of some hoe. Zeke set up this image of this promiscuous, manipulative woman, knowing doing such in a misogynistic society will have people overlooking and adding on to her mistreatment. By wrapping his sentence up with, "now I'm supposed to be her baby's daddy," Zeke punches the nail in her proverbial coffin by discrediting her claims. Knowing the picture of this woman he's created will draw people to believe him in his victimization. You're a dirty bastard. You're a dirty, dirty bastard, Zeke. I need you to know that. Raising little misogynists. Given the adults who raised them, it comes to no shock of mine that the child who uttered this,
"I'm gonna be the first girl in the NBA." "No, I'm gonna be in the NBA. You're gonna be my cheerleader."
grew up to become the young adult that had the temerity to say this.
Everybody knows you're gonna get more play being Quincy McCall's girl anyway.
The ways Quincy engages with Monica when they were children perfectly encapsulates a child mirroring the misogyny exemplified by society and his parents. When Quincy first meets the new kid who moved onto his block as a child, he and his friends are open to them joining their scrimmage, until they learn she's a girl.
He's a knitter! Oh man, he is a girl! Man, girls can't play no ball!
Immediately, casual sexist statements are thrown out from the children as misogyny leads them to disappointment and rejection of Monica from joining the game. Because in the eyes of society, girls can't ball. After their not so welcoming introductions, Monica states proudly that she's going to be the first girl in the NBA, to which Quincy breezily replies,
I'ma be in the NBA, you gonna be my cheerleader.
Quincy instinctively relegating Monica to cheerleader portrays how deeply misogyny is embedded in these children as a result of patriarchal society and their parents. Monica's statement asserts her belief that she is someone who can enter into a space dominated by men and excel. It is a direct attack on patriarchy and restrictive and conservative gender roles. Quincy, hearing this, takes the misogynistic route, verbally putting Monica back in her rightful place through cheerleading. A specific degradation is being prescribed to cheerleader in Quincy's statement, as if it's a position beneath that of a ball player in the NBA, because it is a role designated for girls. It's important to acknowledge the possessive pronoun Quincy uses here as well, my cheerleader. Quincy is turning Monica into a possession, which he has ownership of. Once again, Quincy is reminding Monica of her place within society as something existing in service to him. You'll notice this running theme of Quincy perceiving Monica as this thing that exists to cater to him throughout the film. During their scrimmage, the children quickly learn Monica's a hooper. When she busts Quincy's ankles one time too many, he lashes out, shoving her to the ground. Even if injuring Monica wasn't his intent, the act of aggression he displays here was purposeful and motivated by misogyny. Monica is a girl who has dared to step out of a girl's place, challenging cisgender patriarchal norms of society by playing ball and outplaying her peers who are boys. Quincy is experiencing this violation of preconceived societal norms and is taking personal offense to the audacity of this girl who has attempted and succeeded in schooling him on the court. It's inconceivable, it's embarrassing, and it's angering. So he lashes out in retribution at this girl who has dared to step out of place and humble him in this moment. After all, the cheerleader ain't supposed to outdo the ball player. A similar act of violence against Monica is witnessed from Quincy shortly after in the film when Quincy asks Monica to be his girl. Quincy, idolizing his father and taking his cues in courtship from his father, tells Monica now that she's his girl, she has to ride on his bike, just like his father drives his mom around in his car. Monica has no desire to do so and expresses as much, to which Quincy responds by calling her stupid. When she refuses to acquiesce to his demands, he ultimately shoves Monica to the ground, calling her an ugly dog, and proceeds to break up with her in this 3-second whirlwind romance, in retaliation for her slights against his father when they engage in a back and forth, and in retaliation for not doing what he says. What we witness in this scene is how young verbal and physical patriarchal violence is learned by children and how early this violence is inflicted on young girls. One can't help but question where Quincy might have picked up such violent language and acts. All roads lead back to Zeke. While looking at these acts of violence inflicted by Quincy is important, I think it's equally as important to also interrogate 2 specific moments in the film where Quincy really seemed to notice Monica and her beauty. The first, when she got dressed for the first day of school. The second being when Monica arrives to prom, body snatched up in a cute little bodycon number. In both these moments, when Monica leans into patriarchal ideals of femininity and beauty, she catches and holds Quincy's attention and is recognized as a romantic interest in his eyes. These moments highlight a parallel that exists between Quincy and Monica's mother, Camille, and the ways they both engage Monica that I'll be digging into later in this video. A commonality that is at its root, misogyny. When it comes to Monica, she is not exempt from internalized misogyny, and it rears its head incessantly when it comes to how she perceives other young girls and her mother. During a ride home with Quincy, conversation around Shawnee Easton, a classmate trying to holler at Quincy, starts up in the car. Monica refers to Shawnee as a hoe multiple times in this conversation.
What a hoe. She's a hoe because she's sending her coochie through the mail.
Monica's internalized misogyny can't help but jump out. It isn't lost on anyone watching the double standard occurring on the screen as Monica refers to Shawnee as a hoe for writing an explicit letter to Quincy, and the disparaging ways with which Monica is speaking on Shawnee versus the language she uses when it comes to Quincy, who's definitively more of a hoe than Shawnee by her standards. The misogyny that's leading her to degrade a young girl for expressing desire and sexual exploration while chalking a boy's pursuit of both as inherent. It's important to note that Monica's internalized misogyny stems from patriarchal society's conditioning of the propensity towards disparaging girls who go against the grain of behavior they're expected to portray, but also stems from jealousy, still linked to misogyny. Jealousy of Shawnee's ability to express her desires and pursue Quincy unabashedly, as a romantic pursuit and relationship with Quincy is something Monica clearly desires herself, but lacks the confidence to pursue. Monica goes on to lambast Shawnee's approach by telling Quincy,
She's not saying I think you're a nice guy and I want to get to know you better. She's saying I want a bone.
You're witnessing misogyny occurring here. The denigration and attempt to shame Shawnee because she's pursuing Quincy in a way unbecoming of a girl under patriarchal norms. There's an inherent performativity within cis-hetero romantic relationships and pursuit. There are methods prescribed to genders that outline the ways to pursue a man or boy, and failure to pursue them within these constraints and without the end goal of romance and serious commitment automatically designates you as a hoe. When Monica does take a shot at Quincy, when stripped down, the shot is really just misogyny.
But then I guess you'll stick your thing in anything.
This phrase is a blatant degradation of Shawnee. Quincy is the subject in the sentence. Shawnee functions as the object on which an action is being performed on. More specifically, her vagina is being acted upon. Using anything as a placeholder for Shawnee's vagina is derogatory to the nth degree. Monica is purposefully likening Shawnee's private parts and person to trash. During their conversation, Quincy does pipe up in a poorly cobbled together defense of Shawnee, but this defense isn't some feminist act. He wants to get with Shawnee. That's where his defense starts and ends, as we learn later on in this film just how he perceives girls like Shawnee who so casually throw themselves at him, and boys or men like him. A generational curse of misogyny. Misogyny only tightens its vines in Monica and Quincy's relationship as they transition from high school to college to adulthood, playing an instrumental part in the breakdown of their relationship and a fundamental reason why you'll never see my ass rooting for it. It's misogyny hanging over Quincy and Monica's relationship, influencing his perception of basketball and where it should be prioritized in Monica's life, that is eerily resemblant of Monica's mother's perception of basketball. Throughout the film, it's reiterated that due to sexism and as the son of a current, soon-retired NBA player, Quincy's journey in basketball is not booby-trapped with the same barriers that Monica must face, as Monica says herself in moments like this when talking to Quincy.
Look, I don't have it easy like you, all right? There's no red carpet laid out for me.
Quincy, for his part, never denies her words, as he knows them to be true. The stakes are much higher for Monica than they are for him, with much less wiggle room for failure. What I will give Quincy, cause Lord knows I ain't gonna give him much else in this video, is that he is supportive of Monica, up to a point.
Everybody knows you're gonna get more play being Quincy McCall's girl anyway.
A misogynistic comment made in jest that I can't help but hold a magnifying glass up to when it comes to Quincy's actions on more than one occasion later on in the story. A joking remark that ever so subtly puts Monica in her place, reminding her that her accomplishments and goals should always come second to his. You see Quincy perpetuate this belief in his conversation with Monica after learning about his father's infidelity. Monica has been busting her ass, putting in extra hours to prove herself and her place on her team. As their conversation goes on and the hour grows late, Monica, growing antsy about breaking curfew set by her coach, tells Quincy after he suggests continuing their conversation,
I can't. Coach has us on 11 o'clock curfew. If I'm late, I don't suit up.
I'm gonna try to approach this with grace, because Quincy is young, and I can understand how it feels like the ground's been swept up from under him at this sudden disillusionment he's experiencing when it comes to his father. A disillusionment, I'm sure, accompanied by a fracturing of his own sense of self, considering he'd spent his life fashioning his identity after that of his father, who he's belatedly learned is an ain't shit nigga. I can hold space for Quincy's averse reaction to Monica bringing up her curfew, something seemingly inconsequential in comparison to the crisis of identity he's having. However, while I can hold room for all of that, as per usual, I will always tap into the more misogynistic happenings at work here. Quincy, understandably, wanted support and comfort at this time. And where else other than Monica would he lean on to get it? Someone who has served as support, safety, and comfort in the past when Quincy's parents had issues. What can't be lost in this conversation is the ways Quincy expects Monica to set all her own things to the wayside and sacrifice her own future to service his needs. This ties back to comments he's dropped in the past, talking about Monica being his cheerleader when they were children, and the joking comment he made about Monica getting more notoriety being known as Quincy McCall's girl than a player in her own right. A sexist belief and expectation that as a woman, Monica's wants and needs should be secondary to his. Quincy doesn't vocalize it in this moment, but Monica's unwillingness to stay with him this night, and unwillingness to fulfill her role as his girlfriend, as a woman, as support and caretaker to him. Her audacity to not throw her basketball career to the side to care for him that night led resentment to fester within Quincy, ultimately resulting in him fracturing their relationship. Mind you, Quincy's acting like Monica just left him there. No acknowledgement is given of her suggesting they continue their conversation in their respective rooms and avoid getting her in trouble with her coach, while still being supportive of Quincy. And sure, we can chalk it up to immaturity in Quincy's emotional state, yet looking at the relationships in this film, there's a pattern of women placing their needs, dreams, and well-being second to that of their husbands. Quincy is repeating this pattern with Monica in this moment. The birth of this resentment in Quincy can be chalked up to misogyny, as Monica herself acknowledges in a later conversation. If the tables were turned, Quincy would not make the same sacrifice, nor would Monica ever put him in that position, knowing how important basketball is to him. And why? Because he is a man and she is a woman. In the underbed of this is a subtle but loud revelation that Quincy does not consider Monica's pursuit of basketball as important or on equal footing with his own. A revelation that draws a clean parallel between Quincy and Camille in Monica's life, but we'll circle back to that in a moment. Following this conversation, Monica shows out at a basketball game, while Quincy has a horrible showing in a game of his own. At this point, it's truly Quincy versus the world in his eyes, and Quincy is on a warpath, going out of his way to self-sabotage his relationships and future as he struggles with his father's cheating, while also attempting to teach Monica a lesson for refusing to show up for him the way he needs her to. Post-game, Quincy finds Monica celebrating in the club after her win and first time starting. Boy, let me tell you, when Quincy walks up in this joint and sees Monica doing a 1-2 step with her homegirls, it's blood in his eyes. You got the audacity to be up in the club twerking down with your homegirls when my daddy just cheated on my mama? Absolutely not. Nah, bitch. Nah, bitch.
Nah, bitch. Nah, bitch. No, absolutely not.
Quincy slinks into the joint with his stank ass attitude, pissed that Monica got the audacity to be happy when he's not, that she's got the audacity to be on the up and up when he's not. Even though Monica says she stopped by to check on him after the game, but he was MIA. So of course, Quincy's really gotta show his whole ass and get his lick back by trying to holla at another girl in this same club before trying to mac on Monica literally seconds after. Y'all, he's trying it. The same girl, Carrie, he will proceed to parade in Monica's face when she comes to check on him the following day. Listen, I don't know if I got a lot of grace left in me to give, And I mean fair. Quincy is determined to uproot his life because the pedestal he put his daddy on has been smashed to smithereens. Well, at least that's what I was telling myself before Quincy had the audacity to ask Monica, as an afterthought, if she wanted to join them and get a bite to eat. Quintavious, your daddy cheating on your mama and Monica not showing up for you on your terms does not warrant you treating her like a pile of shit. Thankfully, this wayward relationship finally combusts when Quincy and Monica meet up at a campus bench shortly after his date with Carrie.
You shared time for me? No, you got your head so far up your ass, it took a cheap date for you to notice me.
Quincy voices his frustration and explains his childish tantrum being spurred by Monica's lack of time for him and her selfishness. Her inability to drop everything and cater to this man, no destiny, is proof of how self-centered she is in Quincy's eyes. Monica rebuttals his words, saying,
If I stayed, I wouldn't be starting.
Or at least you got your priorities straight.
Quincy is clearly letting us know his support of Monica's basketball career is conditional. A condition that starts and ends with her prioritizing his wants and needs over her own. At his words, Monica answers back, telling Quincy that she'd never ask him to choose. And here's how this man replies.
You never have to.
Which brings us back to that thing hanging over Quincy and Monica's relationship, which I raised at the beginning of this chapter. That thing that connects Quincy and Camille, influencing the ways they perceive Monica's relationship with basketball. That thing being, misogyny. Quincy's words here, "you'd never have to," reveal exactly what he thinks about Monica's little ball career. It's insignificant compared to his, because she is a woman and should be treated as such. It's this misogyny that allows him to hold the expectation that Monica prioritize his needs over her own when he's struggling, without expectation that he do the same when the table is reversed. The same resentment Camille feels for her daughter's love of a sport that doesn't fit her ideals of femininity is the same resentment Quincy is exhibiting here at Monica's love for a sport that does not shape her into his ideal of what a girlfriend should do and be. Which is why it comes to no shock that we later on find Quincy engaged to a woman like Kira, who can easily drop everything to be at his side. When Monica and Quincy reunite years later, and Monica makes a Hail Mary plea for Quincy to take her back, Quincy responds to her desperation with an assertion about Monica's character.
You haven't changed. You still think the sun rises and sets on your ass.
Again, Quincy throws Monica being selfish in her face. Quintavious, disrespectfully, shut the fuck up. Disrespectfully. Is Monica being selfish in this moment? Hell yes. Was Monica selfish in their relationship in the past? Well, hell yes. But not any more than Quincy has been in his pursuit of his sport, or in his attempt to sabotage the future of her basketball career, all so that she can hold his hand through his parents' divorce. Yet only one of them is villainized in their pursuit. Monica has had to be tenacious and make sacrifices in her personal life in order to achieve her dreams in a sport she loves that is devalued in her household, in her relationship, and in society because she's a woman. It's this passion and tenacity to pursue a sport unabashedly and put it first, the same way Quincy puts basketball first, that frustrates Quincy and gives him the gall to call her selfish. Which is why it's so frustrating at the end of the film when Monica says this.
It's not fun for me anymore because you're missing.
The decision to have Monica frame her love of ball around Quincy.
At one point I thought my right ear was not working correctly because the shit that I heard come out of that room.
A symptom of cis-hetero romance, truly, and misogyny. That's all this plot choice is. Because what could be more romantic than rediscovering your love of a sport through a cis man? I struggled to find where in the film Monica's love of basketball and pursuit of the sport was intrinsically tied to Quincy. The film explores their individual journeys in basketball side by side, but prior to them reuniting as adults, neither are shown to be heavily invested or involved with the other sport outside a few scenes that I can count on one hand, where one offers advice on the other sport, or we get a quick pan to one watching the other play. A love of basketball brought them together as children, violently, I might add. But that love of basketball is not what birthed their romantic relationship, nor did it play an integral part in the growth of their relationship. If anything, it was Monica's love of basketball that led to the deterioration of their relationship. There's a cheapening of Monica's love of basketball that occurs with her words, as they spin an almost revisionist history of the couple's relationship, disguised beneath this bullshit veneer of romance. But once you see through the bullshit, you understand ain't none romantic occurring on screen. I'm not even gonna go over this little game Monica plays for Quincy's heart. We all remember Quincy dunking on her ass, rehabbed ACL and all. All I'll say on this scene is, Monica judges her mother for her life and the concessions she made for a man. But what about this ugly ass exhibition ain't resemblant of the life Camille has carved out for herself with her husband? Evidently, it's not the romance that spurred my like of this film, but the ways with which Love and Basketball showed a younger me what not to tolerate from a man, and what an older version of myself can conceptualize as an ugly, stark portrayal of how within patriarchal society, misogyny, unacknowledged and unchecked, seeps from branch to branch, a generational curse plaguing families and society. Y'all, this video was long as fuck, so if y'all don't just go ahead and press that little subscribe button and the like button and drop a comment, thank you very much. Have a good night. Thank you. But seriously, this video was long as fuck, so you better press that subscribe button, ho, if you made it to the end. Hello? Push it to the limit, cause we're in it to win it, oh yeah, push it.